Hi there, Roxy here. In this video, we will see how to transform multiple rows column values into some delimited string in Spark SQL. This is the sample input data. It has three columns: candidate ID, candidate name and skill. We can see three candidate details here. Candidate ID 101 Alex Gregg has 4 records, 102 Peter Roy has 2 records and 103 Maria Sen has 5 records. The requirement is to walk through on each candidate and group all their skills into a pipe delimited string. If there is any duplicate data found, then it must be removed from the output. This is the sample output data. Here we can see all three candidate details were grouped into 3 rows. Also their skills were grouped into a pipe delimited string and there is no duplicate data found. Before we get into the Spark window, let's discuss the query plan first. In order to bring multiple rows column values into some delimited string, we need to add 3 steps in Spark SQL. In the first step, what we are going to do is we are going to bring each candidate skills into a list of array. For that, we will be adding either collect list or collect set functions. These two functions aggregates the data into a list and returns an array type. The collect list function aggregates the data as it is without removing the duplicate value, whereas the collect set function removes the duplicate value and returns only unique data. According to our requirement, we need to choose any one of them. In our requirement, we don't need to display duplicate value, so we will be going with using collect set function. Once we're done with step 1, we'll proceed to step 2, where we will be sorting these array elements in alphabetical order. For that, we will be using sort array function. This function accepts two arguments. The first argument is array type input column and the second argument is true or false. True means it will sort the array elements in ascending way. False means it will sort them in descending way. And the return type of this sort array function will also be an array. After this step, we will proceed to step 3, where we will be joining these array elements with some delimited string. For that, we will be using array join function. This function treats each element present in the array as a separate string and join them with the specified delimited character. This function accepts 3 arguments. The first argument is array type input column. The second argument is the delimited character. The third argument is completely optional, which is null replacement. If we want to replace null with some string, then we can have this parameter, otherwise we can ignore it. After we applied all 3 steps, we will get the required output. Now let's go to the Spark window and see the behavior of each steps in detail. I have already made the data available on this temporary view candidate skill. Let's query it. I am assigning the result to a data frame. I'll be using show and print schema function to display both result as well as schema. We can see the temporary view candidate skill has 3 columns. Also, it contains necessary data. Let's proceed to write the actual query. According to the output, we need to fetch all 3 columns. We need candidate ID. I'm converting this to an integer. We need candidate name. Now their skills needs to be grouped into a pipe delimited string. As we discussed, we need to add 3 steps in Spark SQL to get the required output. As part of step 1, we will be adding collect set function, which removes duplicate data and returns multiple rows column values into a list of array. But to get better clarity, we will also be adding collect list function, which returns the source data as it is, so that we can practically see the differentiation between these two functions. Let me add those functions now. To this function, we need to pass the column which we want to group. These two are aggregate function. So if the select statement has any non-aggregate column, then it must be declared in group by class. Otherwise, Spark will throw an error. Here the non-aggregate columns are candidate ID and candidate name. I am ordering the data based on candidate ID. In this result, we can see separate row created for each candidate. Also, their skills were grouped into a list of array. In collectSet function, we can see only unique data as this function removes duplicate value. Whereas in collectList function, we can see the source data as it is. We can notice two scalar value here as this function do not involve in filtering any records. Also, both these functions returns values in an array. In print schema, we can notice the return type of both function as an array. I hope now you understood the differentiation between collectSet and collectList function. In our requirement, we don't need to display duplicate value, so we will be going with using collectSet function. Therefore, I am removing this collectList function from the select statement. Now we are done with step 1. So we'll proceed to step 2 where we will be sorting these array elements in alphabetical order. For that we need to add sort array function. This function accepts two arguments. The first argument is array type input column. The return type of collectSet function is an array. So we are passing the output of step 1 as input for step 2. And we are setting the second parameter value as true, which is equivalent to sorting the data in ascending way. Let me run this. We can see the array elements are sorted in alphabetical order. Also can notice the sort array function returns values in an array. In print schema, we can see the return type of sort array function as an array. So we'll proceed to step 3 where we will be joining these array elements with some delimited string. For that we need to add array join function. Let me add that function now. I am passing the output of sort array function as input for array join and giving the pipe as the delimited character. Now the result populated is exactly matched with the expected output. Single row created for each candidate. Also their skills were grouped into a pipe delimited string and there is no duplicate data found. To summarize this, in order to bring multiple rows column values into pipe delimited string, we have added 3 steps in Spark SQL. In the first step, we have added collectSet function which removes duplicate data and return multiple rows column values into a list of array. In step 2, we have added sort array function to sort the array elements in alphabetical order. In step 3, we have added array join function to join the array elements with pipe delimited string. I hope you found this video useful. We'll catch up in next video with another interesting problem statement. Thank you.